this is not saying men and women are not equal. Obviously, that's not what I'm saying. But like,
no, of course.
The way that we function is different. We need to accept to a certain degree that our brains are different. Our nervous systems are different. The way that we've been socialized is different. We can be angry about that and rally against it and have moments of resentment for sure. But long term, if we're trying to protect our marriage, if we're trying to have a home where mom and dad are kind and model that behavior to their children, there has to be a different conversation about how to navigate co-parenting.
You gotta get on my level.
Hey, I'm Leah Van Dale, and this is Hot Mom Shit, the podcast where we live in the and. We're going to laugh, we're probably going to cry, and I'm definitely going to say something I probably shouldn't. If you've ever looked like a babe on the outside while completely losing your shit on the inside, you are exactly where you need to be. Welcome back to another episode of Hot Mom Shit. I am so excited, you guys, because you know her, you love her, we're obsessed with her. I don't know what I would do without her. I think I have her on this podcast more for myself so I can get free therapy than to even help you guys, because this is how incredible she is. Like, literally, I'm obsessed with her. Okay, Dr. S is here. Dr. S, welcome back.
Hi, thank you. That was the best intro ever.
This actually isn't even being recorded. It's just me asking my own questions for free therapy.
No problem. I'm here for it.
No, I'm just kidding. As always, you guys make sure you're writing in your questions so we can get them answered by a true professional. But I figure we'll just go right into it. I have some questions that some of our listeners wrote in. And this is one that I think is so controversial. I know everyone has a take on it, but I'd love to get your advice on screen time guilt, and how to deal with it. What are your thoughts? What do you think about screen time?
Wow, that's a toughie. Okay, so I'm going to tell you the ideal answer, and then we can explore like the nuance of reality. But ideally, are we talking about us being on our screens in front of our kids, or letting our kids be in front of screens? Because I think they're
both. I think both. Originally, I was just thinking like kids watching like TV, iPads, things like that. But also I do, and more so I can tell my dad and my husband to stop going on their phones in front of my son.
Yeah. So, okay, here's where I'll start. I think it's very tough to tell a child not to do something that we are modeling ourselves. So if you're always on your phone in front of your kid or your computer or whatever, and then you're telling your child that they can't have screen time, like, we have to examine that piece separately. But that aside, I believe in screen time. I don't think it's a big deal for your child to have like some time to decompress, to watch their favorite show. All of that is kind of normal. They live in the real world. There's screens around them all the time. So I'm very for it. And again, I'm a psychologist. I'm not a child specialist by any means, but I definitely think if that's how you get through dinner, if you have a toddler that you're needing to entertain while you put the baby down to sleep that night, and that's their time for a show. If after school they get to come home and have a snack and watch whatever, like some Bluey, that sounds like a beautiful day for you and for your kid. I think where it becomes problematic is the same way it becomes problematic for us, is if it's an excess, and also what content you're consuming. So I think intentional screen time is really important. Knowing what your children are watching, not letting them go down YouTube spirals. That's really scary. The other day, I was letting my kid watch, some TV, and I didn't realize the YouTube video had changed, and it was showing him cartoons of people killing each other.
Oh my gosh.
So it's like, I don't know how we went from like a child's song to a cartoon like that, but it happened in like a minute.
Wow.
So I was like, okay, we're only doing no more YouTube. But
right.
Yeah. So I think that's the important thing, to just be intentional about the screen time.
Sure.
And then also model for our children. If you're always on your phone and then you're asking your child to be intentional or time sensitive, and then you're scrolling, ain't gonna work.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I feel like there's like this catch-22. I know sometimes, especially if I'm solo parenting, my husband's on the road a lot, he travels, and if my mom helps out a lot with my kids, but if she's not available and I have to like get emails done
Yeah.
or, get back to somebody. Like, I'm on my phone. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Like, I have to like answer some. And then I just feel so guilty about that. I'm like, okay, mommy just has to do some work real quick. And I'm like doing my thing. And I just feel like there's this whole stigma. Like, you cannot be on your phone in front of your kid or like,
I wouldn't make it a habit to be on it for a long time or to do it mindlessly, honestly, because also, children are learning from us, trying to, I don't know, this is my own maybe mom guilt coming out, but like I never want my child to think these emails I have to answer are more important than being present with you. So not that that's like how his 3-year-old brain is like interpreting it, but
of course
some version of that. So yeah, I have to answer emails in front of him and do that kind of stuff. But I try to be really, again, intentional. That maybe instead of doing things off the cuff, that's when he gets his half an hour and I go answer emails.
Yep.
And yeah, people have to wait for your response otherwise.
Yeah, exactly. Totally. And I think that's something that I've been trying to figure out how to navigate, and that's a great piece of advice. I've just been recently on a big 90s kick. I'm a 90s baby, and I've been giving like only allowing him to watch 90s TV shows, and he has become obsessed. It like makes me so happy. I love that he loves like Little Bear, and he watches like Gullah Gullah Island and like all of the stuff that I used to watch when I was a kid.
Me too.
And I realized when I go to shut it off, there's no meltdown. He doesn't, and I've never like he doesn't watch Cocomelon. We don't watch the overstimulating shows at all. But sometimes like my husband or my mom, depending on who he's with, they'll end up watching something. I'm like, no, he can't watch that. Like that's absolutely like not acceptable. And he's just very much into like the 90s shows.
You know what I've been doing recently that I think is kind of fun is I have like an Apple TV. I'll cast our videos that we take from the day.
Yes.
So he's just watching like videos of himself or like home movies kind of. Mm-hmm. And then eventually he gets bored and like he'll just go start playing. And it's the best. So yeah.
I think that's great. That's a great way to like, okay, you want to watch TV? Great. You can watch some videos from, like from your day. That makes so much sense.
Or like he'll watch like videos of like my sisters. Again, this is like super intentional. I don't know that it can be done all the time, but we had like my sisters record themselves reading a book or singing songs.
Oh, okay.
So I'll just play that. And again, he gets bored a lot faster, but in the beginning, it holds his attention to get me through writing an email. So we'll do something like that.
Right. I love that. That's such a good idea. Okay, next question. Sometimes I hide in the bathroom just to get away from my kids. Is that okay? And this isn't coming from me, but I'm not saying I haven't done it. But thoughts?
It's so funny that's the question. I literally posted a reel a couple weeks ago where it was like me hiding in the bathroom or in the car or like even in my kid's closet just to like get away from everybody. Okay, so yes, the short answer is like, yes, it's okay. That's a realistic, again, we have to live in the real world when we're talking to moms about like how they can organize their life. Yes, sometimes you're going to trap yourself in the bathroom for 10 minutes to scroll, and that is a real self-care break. Sometimes you're going to have to answer emails in front of your kids because that's life. I think the real thing that we want to get to is that that's not the only way that you get a break, or that doesn't become so automatic that you're not then trying to do other things to take care of your overstimulation, that you're not, going for that walk or eventually, maybe taking a nap or whatever it looks like. So it's good real self-care, and we don't want it to become a replacement for every other kind of, how do I say, like more adaptive self-care that's long-term.
Right. Okay. Well, that makes sense. Next time I'm in the bathroom for a couple more minutes.
Just let it be. Yeah. And label it as self-care. Tell yourself you're doing something good for yourself.
Right.
And then you won't feel so bad about it.
There we go. You guys heard it here first.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question. Well, I guess this isn't a question. Someone just put the unequal load between moms and dads. Mm-hmm. How to deal with that.
Okay. So this can actually become kind of a controversial topic also, weirdly, because of how I'm going to answer it, which is I don't believe that there's ever any equality that is going to be achieved between the mental load that a mother and a father carry. I think it's about how we want to be supported as we carry that load, how we want our partners to help us and respond to us, or sometimes just acknowledge us for the fact that we're carrying that load. But if we're looking for equality, I think it's a setup for everybody involved. I don't think a dad's ever going to do the same thing a mom does. So rather than, like, I guess, lamenting that or trying to solve that, we look for tools like asking our partner, hey, if you see that I'm overstimulated, here's a way that you can help me. You can give me a hug. Or if giving a hug is going to overstimulate the shit out of you, you can say, can you please, if you see me doing that kind of thing that night, can you pour me a bowl of cereal and put me in front of the TV and tell me you love me and just leave me alone for 20 minutes? The solve is have your husband ask you, do you need help? Do you need a hug? Or do you need to be heard? It's the 3 H's. And so then your husband has a real way to approach you in these moments of overload or whatever. Or if you're even having a conversation about how the day went or how you're needing support, you can tell them to ask you that. We don't need our husbands to solve our problems. We don't need them to tell us how to do what we're doing more efficiently or whatever. Sometimes we just also need to be told we're doing an amazing job and that we're seen. And we're happy to do what we're doing. We just want to know that, you know, it's not happening in the shadows. So that's the long and short answer is, you know, ask for what you need to be supported as you're doing that stuff instead of having your husband be a second version of you, because it's not going to happen.
And having that unrealistic expectation.
100%.
Like that, to even hear that is blowing my mind, because I think for a long, I mean, I know I see it, again, talking back to social media, I feel like so much of it goes to social media, because if I didn't see these videos or reels or posts or whatever, maybe I wouldn't think it. But it's like, you know, you see the woman being like, oh, he'll never understand. I did this, and this. But he would never know because it's just in my head. Like as moms, we always have this checklist running in our head of like, oh, the diapers are running low, or, oh, he woke up at this time, so he's going to need his nap at this time, or just like all of the things that you deal with as a mom that dads. And again, I don't want to generalize, but I feel like for the most part, that's kind of like the realistic
it
part
just kind of
it
is what it is. Like, you know, and I think sometimes I'm jealous. Like my anger is actually jealousy that my husband's brain doesn't operate that way.
Yes.
You know? So there will be certain things that I'll tell him, like, I need your help with X, right? Like I really, really need help with sleep, with the kids' sleep. I don't like being the only one who's in charge of nap times and like how to put them down for naps. So he knows how to do that really well, because I was very specific that this is what I need help with. This is why. This is how it helps me, blah, blah, blah. But other than that, yeah, I'm carrying 10,000 things that he'll never know I am.
Right.
But if he tells me, I'm so grateful for you. I'm so grateful. Look at what an amazing job you did throwing that party for our kids. They're so lucky to have you. Then I feel really good about it. Like I don't mind doing these things. I just don't want to do it by myself, you know?
Right. And it's like, I'm going to do all of these things regardless. Like, because he doesn't get it. He doesn't do it the way I do it. The kids want me specifically for certain things. And I don't, that's exactly how I feel. I just want to feel like, okay, appreciated. Like he sees the things I'm doing. I feel seen. I feel appreciated. And I think that's what we're missing a lot of the times as women. It's like, oh, well, going back to the social media, I see all these things. Like, he doesn't know I do this. He doesn't know I do that.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Like, well, he's never going to. Like, because the things that we do, a lot of times he probably thinks are unnecessary. Like, why do you need to do that? Or why is this happening? But this is the way that I'm doing it.
I think the part where this becomes kind of toxic, though, is if now as a mom, your husband's criticizing the way you're doing things.
Sure.
Then I just want to put it out there. If anybody's hearing me talk about this, there is that side of it. And I'm not saying that that's okay. Like, if someone's not going to help you, I don't think that they have a right to criticize you.
Oh,
So
for sure.
if someone has a lot to say about what you're doing as a mom and they're not being very helpful about it, then my advice would be different than what I'm saying now.
That totally makes sense. That's how I feel about my kids' sleep, because my husband will be like, because I'm the one that gets up, especially with the baby at night, because he will latch in the middle of the night. So I'm
He's
the one
soothing,
that gets up
yeah,
with him.
of course.
Yeah, and that's how he soothes. That's how he goes back out. And I don't expect my husband to get up and do that because he doesn't have a boob, right? So that's
Right.
like what I do, right? But sometimes he'll be like, I'm like, oh, I'm just so tired of this, blah, blah, blah. And he'll be like, well, why don't you do this? And I'm like, respectfully, you don't have a say because you're not the one getting up with him. And he's like, oh shit, okay. Like, I get it.
So, I mean, and here's the thing, right? So in that instance, what would you prefer he tells you when you say, I'm so tired? Do you even know?
I don't know. Like, maybe like, oh, I'm sorry you're so tired. Like, I don't know. Like, because there's nothing you can do to fix it, right?
Yeah. So like what I want is I want my husband to be like, let's go get you a fancy coffee.
Sure,
like
sure.
Something nice that's like not like, oh, we should sleep train, or oh, what if you just do this at night instead. I'm like, I know all the things, okay? It's more like if I'm saying I'm tired, be like, you're doing you're doing an amazing job. Our kids are so lucky to have you. Or if you're really tired, let me take over, for an hour today so you can go do whatever you want.
Yeah. Yeah. He'll like take me for a pedicure and I'm like, cool. Like, that's all I need. I don't need you to like do anything or have a say in it because I'm doing it this way anyway.
Yeah.
So
would it be helpful to order in dinner tonight so that we don't have to like have that chaos? Like, where can we support you today so that like you being tired because that's a really amazing thing you're doing for our kid can be balanced out,
This makes so much sense. And I wish that there were more conversations like this on the internet because I think it would help a lot of women with built up resentment. I know that, resentment is so real as a new mom in postpartum. I was dealing with it with my first because I had no idea what to expect. I just thought like my husband has 3 kids. They're older, but I don't know what he was like when they were little, when they were born. So I don't know, right? But I just assumed he would know what to do because he's had kids before. And it's like, he showed up in different ways, but not how I expected him to. And so it was just like all of this crazy resentment in postpartum. And now obviously I understand it. This is my second. I get it. I know he has different intentions and we've like worked on things through therapy and just like what our flow is and what that looks like. But I just think there's so much negativity and around resentment and marriage and all of that in postpartum and motherhood on the internet. Cause it's like, oh, just to hear you say that it will never be equal.
No,
like
it will never be
like,
equal.
Want to have a sigh of relief. Like, okay, great.
Yeah,
I'm happy to know that.
Yeah. This is not saying men and women are not equal. Obviously, that's not what I'm saying. But like,
no, of course.
The way that we function is different, and we need to accept to a certain degree that our brains are different, our nervous systems are different, the way that we've been socialized is different. We can be angry about that and rally against it and have moments of resentment for sure. But long term, if we're trying to protect our marriage, if we're trying to have a home where mom and dad are kind and model that behavior to their children, there has to be a different conversation about how to navigate co-parenting.
For sure. And that's so helpful. So helpful. And I think, God, I think about like first time parents and the things that you deal with in postpartum. How do you know this? Like, how do you know? Like, I feel like I talk about mental health and women's experiences postpartum, and I've had therapists and people inside Snatch Chat, experts talking about all these things. So I really feel for first-time couples having kids and not knowing that it's okay for things to not be equal and to have different expectations and just navigating all of it.
It breaks my heart. It really breaks my heart because I think as much as I dislike social media and it's done a lot of like harm in the motherhood space, I actually find that there are pockets of like mom social media pages that are doing an incredible job of trying to amplify this conversation to show that it's good, bad, messy all the time, all at once.
Yeah.
And so it's this layered experience. And I really just believe these conversations getting amplified, women being honest about loving like motherhood, but also struggling in motherhood, and those two things existing at the same time being really real. Like, I think people had a very interesting misconception about me my first like time becoming a mom, because I loved it so much. They had no idea how much I was struggling just as Sanam, like as the woman. So as a mom, I was thriving, but as a person, I was really, really struggling because my time didn't belong to me anymore. My body was different. I didn't know how to be in my marriage the same way that I was before. I was grieving all these experiences I didn't get to have, and none of that had to do with my child. And so you're holding all of these, opposites at the same time, and we just need to make that be the definition of motherhood,
Right. That's kind of the genesis of this podcast, being in the and. Like, you can be exhausted and be overwhelmed and tired and just touched out and grateful and loving and obsessed with your kids. And, both things can be true. And I feel like a lot of times, like, you feel like you have to just fit into one box. Like, oh, but I'm a mom. I wanted this. Like, I wanted to become a mom. Like, why is it so hard? Or why am I so exhausted? It's like, you can be both. You can love your kid and be tired.
Yeah.
Both things can be true. And I want to be clear too. I'm not at all like complaining about being a mom. Like, I love being a mom. I love having kids, but it's still hard.
It's so hard. And by the way, you can also love your husband and be resentful of him. So just to put out another
sure.
But like even that with him, like, I know we're talking about it. Like, none of these things are foolproofing your marriage or your experience as a mom or whatever. It's just making it kind of less shocking and less painful all the time.
And heavy.
Heavy. That's the right word. Yeah, less heavy.
It's true. I think, like, I had joked about this a couple of weeks ago on my podcast, where talking about, my girlfriend, like, being so upset with her husband about XYZ. I don't even remember. And then she posted a picture, like, having a great time with him. And I'm like, to the naked eye and to anyone who doesn't know her, they think her marriage is great. And, like, her marriage is great, but they still have issues. They still have problems, and nothing is perfect. And I know that nobody really wants to air out their dirty laundry on the internet. But I just think the more we can have conversations and normalizing and, like you said, amplifying that it is normal to love your husband and be resentful. Like, that's okay. It doesn't mean you love him any less or feel like your marriage is on rocks or whatever.
Yeah.
It's all normal.
Yeah.
I love it.
If you want to talk about this forever, and this is for another episode, I'm sure, but I even think this extends into, like, your relationship with your own parents after you become a mom. Like, how you feel towards the grandparents, like how they're helping you, how you're conceptualizing who they were for you as parents. Just everything starts to change. And so you're looking at every relationship you've ever had, even with your best friends or your core friend group. Every relationship changes, and you observe it from a different lens because you're different now. So endless conversations about that.
No, even, like, to dive into that a little bit, I feel like if you can talk about it, like,
yeah, of course,
look at my parents, I've realized now just how I could get emotional, like, loved I was as a kid. And I never, like, of course I had issues with my parents growing up, but, like, nothing crazy. And to see them with my kids, I'm like, holy shit, I am so blessed. Like, and I think I see how they were with me when I was a kid. And it's just really such a cool experience. I feel like almost looking at my childhood in a different lens, seeing how they are with them. I feel really lucky. And it's been such a great journey seeing them that way in this experience. But I like that you said that.
Yeah, it just redefines all of your relationships. And so that can be, you don't have a lot of bandwidth, like early postpartum, to necessarily, digest all of that at once. But I think over time, you just start to, there's like a wisdom to being a parent when you lean into it that you just start to prioritize different things. You hopefully have a little bit more confidence in yourself, less time for bullshit. And that comes from reorganizing who you are in the world. And that reorganization changes all of your relationships.
Yeah, I feel like it forces you to really like become who you are. Like without even really trying. It's like you said, the things that matter once matter don't. The things that you prioritize before are like at the low end of the bottom of the totem pole.
Yeah.
Things just, and it just kind of happens without thinking about it. It's not a conscious thing.
Yeah. I always tell my clients that you're going to have a growth edge somewhere in your personality or how you work in the world. And you're either going to have it for yourself or you're going to have to face it for your kid. And a big example of that is being a people pleaser. So a lot of us operate in the world by people pleasing. And that is not a healthy way to be as a parent, to model that for our children, that they should then become mini people pleasers. So you're going to have to face that growth edge of setting boundaries or, having limits or not doing everything for everybody because that's what's good for your kid. And I'm always curious to see how that changes relationships, because it will make some relationships stronger and it will end other relationships that you have. And, people have to grieve that. But when you tell them you're doing this reprioritization, you're reevaluating, you're letting go of some insecurities to be a stronger parent. When you're doing that for your child, there's like a commitment to it that I see that I don't often see in the same way with people who haven't entered parenthood. Not to say that it doesn't exist, but it's just so different when you're doing it for your kid.
Sure. Oh, that makes so much sense. That's a topic I definitely want to get into another time. Like
the people
talking
stuff,
with people. Yeah, for sure. But this was so good, as always. I'm so grateful for you.
Thank you,
Again,
Leah.
I have all of the notes that I need to take and go to my husband with like, okay, this. No, I'm so grateful for you. As always, send in your questions. We'll get Dr. S to answer them. And hopefully you guys are liking listening to this. Remember, this is going to continue to change and grow into whatever it is you want it to be. And you're a freaking hot mom, and don't forget it.
You gotta get on my level.
You did it. Somewhere between the laundry and the meltdowns, you made time for another episode of Hot Mom Shit. If something today made you feel a little less alone, text it to the mom who could use the reminder too. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss a new episode, and come hang out with me at the Leah Van Dale. Remember, babe, none of us have our shit together.